On this part of the Codex course, we are going to talk about your first Codex session. But before that, I want to show you how to actually start it, how to create a folder, how to use VS Code. So for this, we just want to start a new VS Code session, and just to take it as simple as possible, you want to go to your desktop, just create a new folder. Let's name this actually Codex for YouTube, and that would be it. And you can just drag and drop this, and you can see the actual gray overlay that will appear when you drag it in, or the open, and you can just go on desktop, choose it, and press open. And that would be it. Right now, you're using this folder that's on your desktop, and you actually opened it inside of VS Code, as you can see it right over here. Now, what I want you to understand is that they are the exact same thing. Like when you create a new file right here, for example, example.md, md means markdown file, which is basically a simple text file, you can see that it will get created right over here, example.md. So they are linked together. This is where you actually operate the folder. That's the only thing that you need to understand. And to plug Codex in all of this, you just need a new terminal and to type in Codex like in the last video. As you can see, it will say you are in desktop Codex for YouTube and you want to trust the content of this directory. Yes, and continue. So that would be it. Right now you're inside of the Codex for YouTube menu and actual folder, and any changes that you're going to do here are going to correspond to whatever is on desktop as well. So let's say that you just want to create a new folder or file, and I will just tell Codex to do that. So just type create a new file, but make it a markdown. That's what MD comes from, with a simple phrase in it. So that would be it. After that, Codex has started to work. You can see here the seconds and whatever it is doing. Okay, you can see that it understood. You need to create .md file with a simple phrase. So it would just start to create. You can see add symbol node.md, and the actual file got created right here. And when we open it by clicking on it, we have the text simple phrase in the first line. That would be it. And this file also exists right here on our desktop with a simple node.md, and when we click it, we just can see the simple phrase. Now, for everything else that you see right here, this is pretty simple. Those are some tool calls that Codex actually performs, and Codex has access to more tools. The +1, -0 is that the new lines that have been created, and the lines are typed 1, 2, 3, and 4, which basically means one line of code. Then you have the test E, which is just a bash command. We are not going to go over that because it's a little bit more complicated for the purpose of this video. But that's how you actually use Codex and its actual features. Now, for some more in-depth, I want to show you some simple slash commands that you want to use. First, you have the /model, which is the most important, because right here you have all the actual models, and let me zoom this in, that you're going to use. And as a simple catalog for this, 5.4 is the best overall. 5.2 Codex is pretty unusable as of right now. You won't go over it. 5.4 mini is the best, especially if you are on a plus or free plan, because GPT 5.4 is using too much of your actual usage for this. Then you have GPT 5.3 Codex, which is the best for coding, but when you have a clear destination that you have, and if you're a beginner, you might want a little bit more hand-holding until you get the idea of what you want to build and how you want to build it. And then GPT 5.2, which is the king for how much independent it is as a model. So for each one as well, you have reasoning levels, and as a general rule, you're going to use medium or high for most of your outputs. The harder the task gets, or the more planning you have to do, the more you want to go to high or extra high, and the less you have to edit or have to work on, you can go to medium. I wouldn't recommend low because it tends to just miss some type of detail, and you don't want that. So medium would be the sweet spot, or high. And for this, I will just use medium. Then you also have fast, which just turns on fast mode on or off, but we don't have the credits for that because it takes 2 times more usage. And usage basically means how much you can use a model until you're restricted. And for the plus plan, you have 5-hour quota and a weekly quota, but for the free plan, which we are currently working with, is just the weekly quota. That you're going to run through so fast. But for the purpose of this video, we're going with the free stuff so you can just see and learn for yourself. After that, you have some good comments like permissions that would just update the model permission, in which the current you have the default that just asks you for things that go outside of scope, like removing files, going outside of this environment. You will learn exactly what an environment is, creating folders, making edits and things like this. And I recommend you to keep the default, especially as a new user. Every time Codex will ask you, in order to provide the actually consent to do things like editing, removing, creating files, running commands, running bash, running terminals, and you want to learn those. You don't want to just blindly say yes. You can just take this and screenshot it, whatever that may be the case, and just upload it to a session on the web, to whatever AI you're working with. If not, and if you're not paying for anything, just go to Claude, just go to Gemini, just go to ChatGPT, which Codex is tied to, and just ask to explain whatever is happening. After that, we have the full access. That is more dangerous, and when you are maybe a more advanced programmer, you will know the purpose of this, but as for the tutorial and as for a beginner, you want to keep this to the default. Then you have the experimental, which has experimental features that we are not going to go over, but they're just basically some beta stuff that Codex is rolling out. Then you have the skills, which is one of the most important part of Codex and of any AI coding tools, and coding and AI tools as general. Right now you can see you have here the list of skills or the enable disable skills, and you can just pick one and start to work with it and just say help me create XYZ, and that information from the skill will actually go on, but we'll talk more about the skills. Then you have the review that will just take reviews against a base branch, and we'll talk more about this in the GitHub video, uncommitted change as well, commit as well. This all will be part of the GitHub video because they are tied to the cloud, basically where your actual code lives on the internet. And custom review instructions, let's say I just want to optimize for something like review my headline, and that's it. Now for other important part, you have rename, just renames the current thread, new starts a new chat, resume resumes a chat, fork just takes the actual one and put it in a new one but with some kind of link between them. You have the init, which will create an agents.md file that is the most important file in your entire folder and is basically the brain and the constitution of how Codex is treating whatever is happening, and we are going to go over it in a depth in another video. Compact, that would just take whatever you have said in your conversation, like let's say you have 10 messages, and it will just create a little message in it that will just summarize this in an entire new context window. So instead of this, it just look like this. Then you have the plan, in which you can just create. Basically you have the basic part in which you execute, like create file, edit, whatever, or planning, in which you just go and actually think of what you want to do and how to do it before actually implementing it. You have collab, which is a little bit complicated, it's experimental, but how you can work with others, I won't go into depth in this video about it. You have the agent, which will switch the active agent thread, because you can use the term sub agents that are basically agents that are working inside of this session. So you have this session and you have agent A, agent B, and you can switch between those with this command. But I won't suggest this, especially on a plus or free plan, because you don't have the actual usage limits for it. Because think of it like this, you have two agents, you will have basically two engines like in a car, and you will consume twice the fuel. And when you don't have that much fuel, or you don't want to spend money on fuel because you want just to learn how to drive the car, that's not optimally. Then you have the copy, in which you'll just copy the last response as a markdown. As I said, the markdown file is a simple text file, and you will copy it to your clipboard. Then you have diff, which show the git diff, which is basically what files have been changed from point 1 to point 2, but these points are git commits or diffs, which we are going to get in the git video. Then you can mention a file, and when you click on this, you'll just have the add, and for example, we can just take the simple note and I will round at it. Let me show you how. Just take this and say simple note. Press tab, and you can see that you just chose this one. So Codex doesn't have to search for it. You are just going to present it and say, here I want to change the simple phrase into something else. So change the simple phrase into the text advanced phrase, and that would be it. And you don't have to worry about maybe mistyping some words. Codex will know what you're saying. It will deduct You don't need to go over this and think too much. You are not here in a grammar competition. You just want to make things simple. And as you can see, you have the explorer that reads the note and the actual changes that get made. +1, -1, and you have the advanced phrase right here. So that would be it, and that's how you can actually use and tag a file, which is one of the most important stuff you want to learn, even though right now Codex can actually go over this pretty good, but we want to just have this as a simple mental framework on how to pick this. Now you can go over status. We will just show you the current status of this. So let me just zoom out a little so you can see all of it. And here you have the OpenAI Codex version, the model that you're using, directory, which is basically the folder on your desktop, the account that you've been using, the collaboration mode, the session ID, and the context window. Basically, how much did you use, and your weekly limit on how much you can use. The difference between these two, the context window, is that this is based on your session as of right now, and this is as your usage. So think of it like this. For this, you have a weekly budget that goes like $500. And out of this $500, you have a fuel tank that you can fill each time with $50. So think of the context window as fuel tanks and this as the fuel reserve. You can drive until you have, let's say, 10%. Then you go to the next one, you have 50 again, and so on. But for this, after you take the 10 and the 50, you remain with 440. And that would be your actually weekly usage until you need to upgrade to a new tire, which can be plus, maximum, or whatever. But for the context window, you just need to think of it like the gas in a current car that you're using, not as the overall budget. And for the limit, for the weekly, you need to think of the overall budget. Now, after the status, we have a little more to go. We have the title, which will be just configuring the terminal title. You don't really care for this that much, but the status line is really, really important, because the status line is basically this part that gets you all the information that you need. And I recommend you to use as much information as possible. You can see here I have the model name, model with reasoning, current direction, project root, git branch, context usage, 5-hour limit, weekly limit, and all of this stuff. What does actually mean? As you can see, you have the model thinking, folder that I'm in, the context again, weekly usage, version, how many tokens I can just put in my window, and how many I've used. So that would be it, as you want to measure as much as possible what's happening. And with this, you can have as much power over what's happening. Think of it like this. You want to have your tools and to know what they're doing, how much they consume, and how and what you're working with. Then you just have the theme, which is just the color in which you will display the actual code changes. It's not that important, but nice to have. And another thing is that you have MCPs, which will be another video of itself. Pretty important stuff. They are servers that you can connect into Codex so that you'll have access to actual outside data sources. Then you have plugins that are just packages that you can connect to Codex that will include both skills and MCPs. Logout is pretty self-explanatory, exit as well. Feedback, in which you can send directly to OpenAI if things don't go well. PS is a way to see the background terminals, but it's a more advanced part. We'll go over it later. Stop is as well. Clear, you just basically make a new entire conversation. And personality, which I would suggest to be friendly. As for the when you begin, I currently keep it on pragmatic because I like it more like this. So that would be it basically for the video. The last thing that you have are the sub-agents, but they're the same as what I talk. When you have two agents, you have A and B, and we don't want to go too deep into this until we have a clear structure of everything that's happening. So that would be it for the video, for the lesson, and in the next one, we're going to see how we can actually create our first project and do something actually useful with Codex. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next one.